Hello, Anna, and welcome to Business Spotlight. Great to see you again. It's been a while, but as I mentioned, I see a lot of your social media and you're very active, which is fantastic. So I'd love to hear more about you and about your business, please.
Hey, Milton, thanks so much for having me. It has been a little while, and congratulations on your book. That's always great to get that information out there. So my name is Anna Osherov. I am the CEO and founder of Flintt, as well as Eventologist Training. Now, today I'm going to talk and focus a little bit more about Flintt because that has been my baby for the last little while, and we have taken some great pains to build a digital tech platform. Who would have thought? Anna went into startup instead of small business and into digital technology. Let me tell you a little bit about Flintt. Flintt was developed to help our users get more customers for less at its basic level. Essentially, what I realized in my journey as a marketer, as a person who thrives on supporting my clients to be more visible so they can build their reputation and increase their revenue by really leveraging the opportunity for digital technology. What I realized is that there's some amazing platforms out there. However, most marketing technology gives us marketing or campaign tools. They don't give us campaign strategy. And what I mean by that is right now, for you to be visible online, right, for you to get your content out there, your content on your socials, on your emails, across all different channels on social, so Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, through email, to get your beautiful images out there, you need to cobble together a whole range of platforms, right? You need to use something to create your beautiful graphics. You need something to then write your content. You need somewhere to then schedule those graphics and that copy and those emails to get it out into the world. And what happens is, for most small business owners, who 47% of whom are doing their own marketing, what happens is most simply just don't post.
Yeah. So true, so true.
So true. And so Flintt was developed to take the guesswork out of it and put it all together. And so by leveraging Flintt, what you will literally get is a pre-created campaign, right? So imagine you've got this idea for a blog, right? You're like, you know what, I'm going to write a blog on a topic that's really dear to my heart. And you go into Flintt and you go, cool, thank you, AI technology. I'm going to type in my blog idea. AI is going to take that and then write your blog for you. Then you click Start Campaign. And what that's going to do is take that information and instantly put it into an email, cut it up and create pictures for it, schedule it onto your Facebook, your LinkedIn and your Instagram with pre-created days and times, and then post it for you, track it and tell you what's your best performing content.
Well, fantastic. And what sort of cost involved with that, Anna?
Well, it's a good question, Milton. We've recently relaunched Flintt with a free tool plus multiple price levels, because what we found was that whilst this sounds amazing, until somebody sees the full scope, like end-to-end rollout, people can't conceptually understand what Flintt does. And so what we've now done is we've launched a free platform which enables people to be able to create their campaign. So from having the copy written to having that all cut up to creating it all the images. And then what they can do is they can post to one channel, which means you can post to your personal LinkedIn. You can email up to 200 of your users, but the email comes from a Flintt email address. And you can have one campaign running at a time. So our campaigns are usually based on a monthly cycle. So you can only have one campaign running at a time. So that's our free version.
That sounds incredibly generous for what you're offering.
Yeah, wow. You're right, Milton, it is. And you know what, maybe in 12 months' time, we'll realize, you know what, we're actually offering a lot. And whilst our users start to know and we get to be known in the marketplace, it's going to be much easier to get people out there. But you know what, at the end of the day, what matters to me is to support those that support others.
Fantastic, well done. So Anna, what geographic area do you cover?
Currently, Flintt is available for all English-speaking countries. We are obviously focusing initially on, Australia, but that doesn't mean that somebody who's not in Australia can't use it. In fact, we have had some people who are VAs who are working in the Philippines are leveraging our technology for their clients right now. But we have decided to launch initially in English-speaking countries, focusing on Australia and really leveraging my network of amazing small business owners who I've been working with for the last, 10 or so years, and building those relationships and really supporting them and, learning in the process. I don't know everything. I can only, go, oh, this is an idea and I think this is going to be really helpful for people just like myself.
Yep.
And then I need feedback from people just like myself who can tell me, this is working and this is not, and can we add this? And so this is what we've been doing. We've been iterating and really building up the platform in order to, or Flintt, with a double T, in order to see how we can best service our ideal demographic.
That sounds terrific. Well done. Congratulations. Now, how long have you been in the business, Hannah?
So Flintt, look, it was an idea before COVID. During COVID, just before COVID, actually, I had a business event venue. And the whole purpose of the venue really was called the Holistic Business Hub. And the idea was to really empower especially holistic health practitioners, those that support others, to be more visible. So to leverage social, email, and events in order to be more visible. Now, the best way to promote your event is to promote your event. And that means, do some great videos and then do a great blog about it and then put some social media content together. And what I used to do was give people a strategy. I'd be like, here is a checklist on exactly how you too can create and repurpose great content to have you visible, like I'm visible. I follow this process and I still have time to run a business, so I can teach you. And people, still put it in the too hard basket. And I thought, you know what? If I can teach you, then I can teach a robot to do the same thing. And so it took a while to find a team. And, so the ideation started in 2019. Over 2020, we put together a bit of a team and started down this journey. 2021, we really struggled to find developers. The world went into a whirlwind. It was challenging to find team. We finally found team. And really in September last year, we launched our MVP. Started to get some great feedback, and now we are obviously relaunching with our Flintt version 1.0. So in this particular business as such, we've sort of been functioning since 2021. But as a marketing specialist, I've been in the industry since 2006, a while.
Anna, who's your ideal client or customer?
That's a good question, Milton. Initially, we developed Flintt to really focus on supporting service-based small business owners, those that really need to build up their reputation online in order to be able to make sales, because they sell high-ticket items and really need to have that customer engagement prior to conversion. So that's where we're starting. We're starting with the service-based businesses. However, the platform has been developed in order to be able to expand. So whilst we're going to start focusing on coaches, consultants, speakers, authors, holistic health practitioners, we can expand then to the retail and hospitality space, and then really be able to grow from there, and then add in product, so e-commerce style content. But we are really starting out with those that really need to get that sort of longer form content out into the world to be able to build up that reputation.
And Anna, what's the biggest challenge you're facing in the business right now?
Our biggest challenge is, well, for me personally, my biggest challenge is balancing what our users need and then balancing the possibility of providing that. Because we're a tech platform, we have to be able to iterate and build and code. So, balancing the right amount of team, both the development side and also the customer support and customer service side can be challenging, whilst looking at how can we effectively sell and convert and still be able to support and iterate. That's probably been the biggest sort of balancing act.
Right.
That's been our challenge.
What's your biggest learning you've had since being a business owner? I'm sure there's many, but what really stands out?
Yeah. What is my biggest learning as a business owner? I think my biggest learning has been understanding how to balance vision versus reality, and
Good.
really learning to step into what we've actually created. I think that success can look very different. Like, I know that when I had the business event venue, the Holistic Business Hub, my vision was to create a space where people could learn, collaborate, and grow. And I did that. We had a space where people could learn, collaborate, and grow. But in the process, that doesn't mean that I had a, financially viable functioning model. And so on the one hand, you're like, oh, I'm still learning how to build and sell and grow, and I'm not making the money that I want to be making, and yet I'm fulfilling on the vision. And so understanding what success looks like and not beating yourself up, and being really fair in how you judge yourself, I think is very, very important.
So what are some of the biggest issues you've had to overcome during your journey in this business? Apart from what you've just mentioned, of course, but...
I think, as for many businesses, COVID was definitely a big challenge, especially when you're in the space of event space and workshops and in-person events, and training people how to do that. So I guess a shift into COVID caused me to have to close my venue and learn how to take all of that training online, which in part was a bit of a blessing, because what I really enjoyed was the teaching and training and the product development, etc., not so much venue management. And then coming back out, I think we're currently in the transition phase. We had all of that trauma and change, and now we're back into the other transition phase, and people aren't really sure what and how and where. And so I think some of the biggest challenges have been to adapt and not lose sight of what it is that you are at the core.
What have you learned about yourself during your journey?
I've learned that I have a very strong need for validation from others, and that validation from others is not ever going to be the best way to feel happy and confident in your growth. So learning how to understand that it's not really validation in others, it really needs to be validation in self, is probably one of my biggest lessons learned.
Fantastic. Tell me some inspiration you use each day. What inspires you?
Each day is different. And that's something that I've really, really noticed. I'll tell you a story, actually. The other day, I was walking along Flinders Lane, and I was having a really bad day. Recently, in order to be able to support our development team, I've had to do a lot of different work so that we've got income coming in whilst we're growing and launching a tech business. And so I was doing some work which I wasn't really happy about doing, and my day was going really terribly. And I'm walking up Flinders Street, and then all of a sudden I do this, and I turn around, I look to my left, and I was nudged by a truck. Literally, a truck was pulling out from the side of the road. I was walking up this way, and the truck nudged my shoulder. I've just got a bruise. I'm fine. But for some reason, it was such a wake-up call for me, because I was in such a bad mood at the time, and everything, I was just thinking doom and gloom. And I don't know, maybe it's my natural positivity, but for some reason I was like, I just got hit by a truck. And it shifted my perspective on being grateful more than anything else. I was like, I was having such a terrible day, and then this thing nudged me, and I thought, you know what? One, that could have been way worse. And two, I should just be grateful. I should be grateful that I have the opportunity to go and do all the different work that I can go and do in order to achieve the things that I really want to achieve. And so I think gratitude plays a really big part in daily inspiration. The other thing that helps me, I'm very much an action-taking person. So when I start to feel like everything is kind of collapsing, I look at what are the immediate things that I've got control over, and what are those actions that I can take in order to make me feel like I'm moving forward, make you feel like you're achieving something. But also the flip side of that can be like doing too many things and too much shiny object syndrome. So finding that balance of like calming yourself and learning how to action plan and take the right logical steps at a time.
Well done. Do you have any favourite quotes or sayings that keep you focused during the day?
Yeah, one of my favorite personalities, I guess, or authors, speakers, writers is Brené Brown.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, we all love Brené Brown. And I think one of the biggest lessons that I've learned through Brené Brown is choose discomfort over resentment. And essentially what that means is learn how to have the uncomfortable conversation straight away rather than doing and saying yes, and I'm a yes person, and then feeling resentment. Because there's nothing worse than, someone saying, hey, I've got this really great event. Would you like to help me with it? And I'm like, yeah, I'd love to help you with it. And then like 4 or 5 weeks in, I'm like, wow, this thing that I'm helping on is now taking up all of my time. I've got no time to do all the things that I need to be doing for myself and for my business. And now I'm just doing it with resentment. So learn to choose discomfort over resentment and have, those conversations that need to be had in time. And the other thing that drives me, I don't know if you've ever read a book called The 4 Agreements.
Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah.
So for those that haven't read it, I highly recommend reading it. And I'm going to try and remember the 4 of them.
Yes.
But one is never assume. One is be impeccable with your word, both for yourself and for others. Another one is always do your best, remembering that your best is going to be different depending on where you are in that space and in that time. And the last one is, can you help me there, Milton? Can you remember?
No, first 2 I jumped at. 4th one.
Impeccable with your word, always do your best, and cannot remember. That's just something you guys are going to have to Google. It's that open loop for you. But the 4 Agreements, a really, really great book.
Yeah, fantastic. If you started your business again, what would you do differently?
Oh, so much. It's really interesting. Being in the space of startup is very, very different than being in a small business. And I just didn't really know this. So when we look at the startup space, there's a lot of opportunity for accelerator programs at ideation phase. I spent 2 years just looking for partnership to build the platform because I knew I couldn't do it by myself. But I didn't realize that what I could have done is gone to, an ideation level accelerator program and pitched my idea and found team and found others to jump on board and get the training that I needed at the time in order to accelerate growth at a rate that is much faster than where we would have, than where I feel we are right now, because I just didn't know any better. Small business, you build a product, you test your product, you try and get customers, and you really learn whether it's viable or not based on your income and cash flow. Startup business, you can start up, you can find others, you can get invested interest through financial support and really be able to leverage and grow and leverage your advisors. And I think I would have just gone down that path. But, it is what it is.
And what would you say to someone thinking of going into business?
Do it. No.
Good. Many people say don't do it. So that's good.
No, do it. I had a really great learning, and they said starting your own business is personal development with a paycheck.
Yep, that's true. Fantastic. And what's the best advice you'd give to your 18-year-old self?
18-year-old self. Best advice I'd give to my 18-year-old self is stop caring what other people think so much. I've had a really full life. I have traveled all over the world. I have, snowboarded and done ski seasons and have had amazing, amazing experiences in my life. And I feel very lucky. in that. But what I've learned as I've gotten older is that I spent so much time experiencing those things but not being present, because all I cared about was, you know, do I look fat in my clothes, and do these people like me, and am I going to be, you know, loved and accepted in this space? And all that's doing is taking you away from being present in the experience and thinking about all of that insignificant ego-driven stuff that, and then feeling all sad about it. So that's what I would really love to impart on 18-year-old self.
And you know, you're the third person this week to mention something like that, that to be present and to stop worrying about what people think. I know one of the best advice I was given is that what people think of me is none of my business. And I thought, how good's that?
Totally.
But it wasn't until I'm in my mid-30s that I accept that.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. It's so sad, you know, you see beautiful young people wandering around, and like I teach at RMIT University part-time, like as a sessional teacher. I teach marketing, communications and public relations. And so I work with, you know, that sort of younger demographic, that, you know, 19 to 25-year-olds. And I actually find that they've got more self-acceptance than I feel I had when I was that age. You know, there's a lot more around learning to be present and learning to accept yourself and learning to accept others. And yet there's so much more opportunity for bullying, and it's a very interesting world that we live in, but I feel like there's less self-deprecation.
And Anna, tell me about what's the future look like to you? You know, what are the main challenges moving forward in your industry?
The challenges, look, technology moves really quickly, so we never know what's going to come at us next. So that's always, you know, at the forefront for me. I do believe that because we bring campaign automation or strategy automation, we actually can leverage the, you know, technology that comes through, but you never know. ChatGPT came in, and it, you know, my students the other day, I said to them, Google the question, and they went straight to ChatGPT to ask the question, you know, and that's a change that was like that. So I think those are some of the challenges in this space. And also the talent pool is shifting a lot at the moment. So, you know, a year ago, it was really challenging to find high quality developers, because a lot went into digital technology. You know, people went online to live. And now we're seeing, you know, a big redundancy in that space. So we just don't know. We don't know what the economy is going to be doing in the next few years. So I think those are all the areas that we need to focus on and just understand what's happening in the world in order to be able to protect our company. Definitely investment is very different. You know, what you'd expect from an investor even a year ago, you know, it was higher money opportunities and higher valuations. Now our valuations are lower, and, you know, the opportunity for investment and how much people will invest is lower. So those are some of the things we need to be really aware of in order to succeed.
Fantastic, Anna, thank you. And finally, are there any offers you'd like to include in the newsletter from your business to help promote you and also for the other readers?
Yeah, look, Flintt, as I said, we are relaunching with a free model. So would love for you guys to jump on, go www.flintt with a double T, FLINTT.com.au, and just click on try now or start now, and jump on and have a go, you know, have a go at creating a campaign. It's super easy. As soon as you sign up, you get a free course on how to write really good content to help you be able to do that through Flintt and not through Flintt. So yeah, and, you know, as much as possible, try it out and give us feedback. If there's something that's not working for you, don't just stop using it. You know, shoot me a line, find me on LinkedIn, find me on Facebook, drop me a line and say, hey, Anna, love this, but this is not quite right, because we want to be able to build something that's going to make a difference in your lives.
Fantastic. No, that's great. Thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it, and can't wait to see the final version.
Thanks so much, Milton. Lovely to catch up as always.
Thank you so much.
Have a lovely afternoon.